So, good day everyone. We are the group 3 and we are assigned to report about the topic of metals. So, we have here our table of contents which consists the definition of metals, materials of metals, characteristics of metals, classification of metals, specification of metals, and of course, our sample blueprint or our graphic design.
Greetings! What I'm about to tell you is about metal. And as we know, metal is also known as good conductor of heat and electricity. It is also known for its ductility and malleability. Many of us uses metal for uses foundation to build a strong structures that long last, such as skyscraper, buildings, or bridges. For more information about metal, my group mates will elaborate the materials, characteristics, classification, and specification of metal.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. So, this is the sample of metals. The first one is the cast iron. Cast iron is actually the name of mixture of multiple elements, including carbon, silicon, and iron. So, the second one is the stainless steel. Is an alloy made by incorporating chromium, nickel, and other metal elements into the steel. Its non-rusting property is derived from the chromium component of the alloy. So the third one is the aluminum. The aluminum is a widely used in vehicle, skeleton, aircraft part, kitchen utensils, packaging, and furniture. And the next one is the magnesium. Magnesium is an important non-ferrous metal. It is a lighter than aluminum and can form a high-strength alloy with other metals. So the second is the copper. Copper, it is used in wire, engine cool, printed circuit, roofing materials, pipe materials, heating materials, jewelry, and cookware. So the last one is the titanium. The titanium is widely used in a golf club, tennis racket, laptop, cameras, luggage, surgical implant, aircraft, skeleton, chemical, appliances, and marine equipment. So that's all. Thank you po.
So now, I am going to discuss the characteristics of metals. So first, we have here the high melting points. It is the temperature that the metal begins to transform from a solid phase into a liquid phase. So a high melting point have a strong intermolecular forces between atoms, electrostatic attraction forces between metal ions, and free electrons create strong metallic bonds with stronger bonds, resulting in higher melting temperatures. So, example of this is the metal with the highest melting point is tungsten. Do I pronounce it right? But yeah, that's tungsten, and it at 3,414 degrees Celsius. So next, good conductors of electricity. These are those materials which allow electricity to pass through them easily. So good conductor of electricity is a material which has low resistance, or we can say that the material through which electricity passes easily is known as the good conductor of electricity. Next, we have here the good conductors of heat. So, this is the materials that allow heat to pass through them easily are called good conductor as heat. So, good conductor of heat, it is the metals like copper and aluminum have the highest thermal conductivity. As copper is an excellent conductor of heat, it is also good for heat exchanger also.
So, high density, or also known as heavy metals, is a relatively high density and is toxic or poisonous at low concentration. So, ang ibig sabihin lang po nito ay itong heavy metals na to at they are able to induce toxicity at low level of exposure. No? So, ang example po nito ay mercury, lead, chromium, cadmium, and arsenic. So, ayun po pinaka-common example ng heavy metals. So, malleability. The property of a metal's ability to be distorted below compression. So, sa madaling salita, malleability is the ability to withstand compression forces. So, it is a physical property of metals by which they can be hammered or shaped into thin sheets. So, ang common example po ng mga malleability ay gold, silver, copper. Yan po ang pinaka-common example ng malleability. So, ductile or ductility. It is the ability of a material to be drawn or plastically deformed without fracture. So, sa mas madaling salita, the ability of a material to withstand tension forces. So, kung sinabi natin tension forces, ito yung hihilain para palayo sa isa't isa. So, sa ductile, ito yung may kakayanan siya makapag-produce ng mga thin wires. No? Ayan, mga thin wires. So, ang mga example ng ductile ay gold, steel, ayan mga common example. Ayun.
Classification of metals. The two classification of metals are ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals. So what is ferrous metal? Ferrous metal, pure iron, is of a little use engineering material because it is too soft and ductile. When iron cools and change from a liquid to a solid, most of the atoms in the metal pack tightly together or the layers. So, ferrous metals are metals that contain iron. Pure iron is of a little use as engineering material because it is too soft and ductile. Ferrous iron metals include mild steel, carbon steel, stainless steel, and the cast iron. Most ferrous metals are magnetic, which makes them very useful for motor and electrical application. The use of ferrous metals in your refrigerator door allows you to pin your shopping list on it with a magnet. Non-ferrous metal. Non-ferrous metal, they are metals that don't contain iron. They have a lot of uses, but they are often expensive because they are more difficult to extract. So, non-ferrous metals are metals that do not have iron in them at all. This means that non-ferrous metals are not attracted to a magnet, and they also do not rust when exposed to a moisture. And the example of non-ferrous metal are aluminum, copper, zinc, nickel, titanium, silver, gold, etc. So, recap. The difference between ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals are ferrous metals contain iron while non-ferrous metals do not. And ferrous metals are magnetic and non-ferrous metals are not magnetic. And ferrous metals are resistant to corrosion while non-ferrous metals are not resistant to corrosion.
Metal specification. Metal specification are defined by standards which may specify metal products, delivery conditions, and the properties of metals in its own specific way. Many ferrous and non-ferrous materials from around the world are grouped on the basis of chemical composition or mechanical properties, and sometimes the basis of delivery conditions such as flat products, bars, or pipes. It is important to bear in mind that most of the metal specifications are complex documents that cannot be condensed in a single line sentences. For our graphical design, we create a wind turbine, and a wind turbine turns wind energy into electricity using aerodynamic force from the rotor blades, which work like an airplane wing or helicopter rotor blades. It is 280 feet tall or 80 meters tall. For a typical 1.5 MW turbines, you can expect a blade length up to 35 and 45 meters long, with a total rotor diameter between 75 and 100 diameters. It can create an electricity up to 6.9 million kilowatts per year. And in the Philippines, we can see it in part of Ilocos Norte, around Bangi, and it is very helpful in the people out there.